Okay, cool. Well, greetings to Kenny and to the class. My name is John Grinley. I am the Director of Strategy and Special Projects for a company called Straight Up Technologies. And I'm glad to have the honor of speaking with you guys today about our company. And I want this to be fun and interactive. So Kenny, how many folks do we have in the room? How many folks do we have on the call? It looks like just one other person's calling in, Jesse, I believe.
Yeah.
And
right
how
now,
many?
today we have actually a off-campus day today.
Oh, okay.
So people are doing the finals. I don't know if everybody's doing the final right now, but
Okay, got it.
but I have sent out a message to a couple of classes, as a matter of fact.
Okay, is anybody in your classroom right now?
I'm not actually in the class right now.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see more people joining. So it looks like we've got.
Yeah.
See the participants. I've got Jesse, Osvaldo Navarre. Perfect.
Yeah.
If you want to give it another minute, I'm happy to wait.
Because most people, I told them start at 6. So.
Okay. Yeah. Let's give it to 6:05, and then I'll start again.
Sounds good.
So okay, stand by. Okay. All right. It looks like we're recording. Again, thank you for the folks that are on the call. Feel free to chat with me through the chat window, and/or take your microphones off when necessary. So love to make this as interactive as possible with myself, Kenny Lou, and the couple of folks we have on the call. And then also let this be informative to anyone who's watching this after we recorded it. So again, my name is John Grinley, and I am the Director of Strategy and Special Projects for Straight Up Technologies, a company based here in El Segundo, California, very close to your school. And that's how we reached out to Kenny Lou to make this possible. And I want to jump into it, but I guess I want to make sure you guys are with me and understand what we do. So what I wanted to start off with is, what are the two things, and anybody can answer this, what are the two things that any company needs to power a network? Anybody got any ideas? The only two things, and we can do our job anywhere in the world. All right. Well, I'll cut to the chase and just give you the answer. We deploy networks anywhere in the world, and we could provide a network on the moon if we had power and internet. So if we've got electricity and we've got an internet service provider, we can do our jobs. And that kind of leads me into what our company does, Straight Up Technologies. So our company is called Straight Up Technologies because we were founded by my CEO, Jeff Hanks, in 2004, and he just believed in being straight up with people, being straight up about pricing, being straight up about the services we provide, and straight up with answers and solving problems. So the company was built. Let me go to the next slide here if I can. There we go. Okay, so let me get to the About section. So we were founded in 2004, and this is going to be an interesting for you guys, because what we do is we design secure, reliable networks, infrastructure, and video collaboration for leading edge for Fortune 500 companies. We typically focus on three areas, which are live events. Where I'm at today, I'm actually at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. So we do a lot of support for live events. We do a lot of support for film and television productions. That's actually how the company got started. Anytime you see Cisco products in television or film, we are probably the ones that integrated that into that. So if you've seen movies like The Martian with Matt Damon, the big video screen, that's us. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel does a video wall. We've done that and set that up, as well as Ellen DeGeneres has a similar video wall. So you can see some of our stuff every day in your goings on in your life. So it's really cool, and that is one of the focuses of our LA office. And we're based in El Segundo, California. We have another office, a very specialized office in San Francisco that handles a lot of our tech clients here in San Francisco and beyond. Obviously, this is a hotbed for that stuff. So we also have an office in the UK, in and around London, and we do work internationally, so it's not just in the United States. So and we'll also have a place in Amsterdam as well. So when we talk about what we do, and like I said, we design secure networks, but we don't design them in the same way that you're probably learning in school. We design them in a way that basically is for temporary setup. It has to work and operate like it's permanent infrastructure, yet it needs to be nimble enough to be set up and taken down for whatever the cause is. So basically, we architect and set up what the client is looking for. If they're doing an event for 10,000 people, we ask what are they going to be doing on the network. Is there going to be a keynote? Is there demos? What is it? Is it a tech event? We do stuff like the British Open, which is obviously a golf course. So we wire up the whole golf course for for an event for about a week or so, but it takes months of planning and implementation, but that's to power the experience for the user on their devices, as well as the internal team that's running the show, the media, the video team that's broadcasting it, as well as the vendors selling T-shirts and Coke and merchandise out in the field there. So it runs the gamut. And so it's pretty exciting stuff we do. Every day is a different day, and that's one of the things I love about my job is every day is something different, a different challenge, a new project, something that I can build on from other projects, but it's never the same thing. So I love how we're not just a typical company. We're always evolving, always changing and developing new talents and getting new clients that push the technology envelope every day for us. These are some of our clients that you probably know very well. We've been doing a lot of work for Google lately, as maybe a surprise for some of you guys. Google is obviously one of the largest companies, most successful companies in the world, but they don't want to get into the event business of managing networks. So they do a lot of remote events all around the world, and they're using us more and more for those events to set them up and make sure that they're successful. Now, when we're talking about a Google event, like we just did the Pixel launch of the new phone that's coming out, we did that last week. And so there was a lot of demonstrations and things that were happening over a specific demo network. Meanwhile, the attendees are on their own devices on an attendee network, and they're reporting, and there's a press network. There's all types of different networks that are working integrated through a solution that we provided to the venue, which was the SF Jazz Center here in San Francisco. So that's a good example. We do the keynote support. So when you see, whether it's an Apple demo or any demo where you see technology being displayed in real time, obviously there's a network behind that. And then there's also a redundant network behind that just in case something happens and that one fails. There's also a third step, which is a video playback where they recorded the rehearsal, and they can use that as a reference point. I am actually at BoxWorks 2017 right now in the Moscone Center, and one of the things that we do is project manage. We help set expectations on site. We help implement the network that's being provided for about 7,000 people here over the course of 2 days, today and tomorrow. So I'm just at the end of my day here, making sure that this project is running smoothly. So when Kenny asked me to set this call, I said, no problem, let's do it. So if I have to run, it'll be because we have an issue, but hopefully there's no issues. We've got most of them solved. And a lot of the events, it's a hurry up and wait thing in managing the network. It's getting everything ahead of time configured, allotted. Communication is a big thing, making sure that everyone on the team knows what we're trying to implement as far as it goes with the network, how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, and when does it need to be up. So those are crucial steps in my project management for this job, and then a lot of the different projects that happen all over the world for us. We do a lot of work for Cisco. Obviously, Cisco Net Academy is a big thing for us. We do events where we want to basically get those Net Academy students working at our events in Vegas, in Salt Lake City, in Chicago, in New York. So what we're looking for is really from you guys is to have a hotbed from Kenny's class and the surrounding areas to come be interns for us. to come work for us part-time and maybe turn into junior engineers that get experience under their belts. I know a lot of you guys are probably straight in college, but maybe some of you are having a career path change. We welcome all of those folks. We welcome people with their CCNA. We also, encourage people to continue down that path. We've been hiring a lot from the Net Academy. So if you're listening to this right now or listening to the recording, look us up and let me know if you're interested in interning and work with Kenny, and we'll do an interview process to see. But we're really looking to get you guys engaged with real world experience in what you're learning in the classroom. I'm actually off to Adobe tomorrow. Adobe's having their big conference in Vegas. We've done some stuff with the Rio Olympics. We did the Olympic house for the NBA there. We also manage Oracle Arena in conjunction with AEG. We do Salesforce, which is a multi-venue that pretty much takes over all of San Francisco. We manage multiple properties, and our big thing for just, if there's something that we're going to take away from this conversation, is our big thing and where networks and things are going, it's about the user experience. At the end of the day, if we don't architect a network that the user can really use and it's robust.
Stacy has joined the meeting.
Welcome, Stacy. If we don't build a network that is equipped for what they're doing, or needs, then we failed. And so failure's not an option of what we do. A couple other cool clients we have, Zoomies. We do a lot of those cool stores that have the surf and skateboarding gear. We do some concert stuff. We've done some stuff with U2, and done some back of house networking for their stage team to be able to set up the amazing concerts that U2's doing for their Joshua Tree 30th anniversary tour. We do NBA integrations. We do a lot of telepresence calls. I don't know if you guys have done many of those, but that's a Cisco proprietary software and a hardware solution that uses high def video to interact and take this kind of WebEx experience to another level. I have one of these units on my desk, and I use Cisco products all the time. So we have to be nimble and know how this stuff works. Obviously, we've got more golf stuff. We've also got filmmakers like Michael Bay, who did Transformers, Bad Boys, a ton of different other movies. But he's a big producer and director in Hollywood, and he uses our equipment to edit movies in real time in different locations. So he may be at his home in Miami, and he's talking to somebody in Los Angeles, and they're editing shots for the movie that just came out, the Transformers, that came out this summer. And they're editing shots, 5-6 months ago before it came out, in real time, and go, hey, change that here, add that, and they're using our video conferencing solutions through telepresence. Alibaba is another one. We also work for Fruct, which is the product placement company. So when we say we do the television and film integrations, we do it through a company called Fruct, and we do that integration after they sign the deal, like, hey, this office is going to be used in this movie or television show, and they're going to be a law office, and they want Cisco phones, and they need to work. So we'll go to the set, and unlike a real-world situation, we'll set up that network to work as a real network, but it'll just be closed in that movie stage environment. So those are some of the cool companies we work for. Like I said, I think we've talked a little bit about the services, but one of the biggest things we do is design and installation. First thing we do, and we hear about a project, and I'll tell you this, our company has grown leaps and bounds, and we haven't done anything but word of mouth. I mean, we do great work. We get referrals. Other clients turn us on to other clients. Obviously, when you're dealing with a Google and some of these other big clients, you don't just start out with those clients. You have to earn your way to the top. So our business is booming. Our business is growing leaps and bounds year over year because people need these networks. Whenever you go to an event or an atmosphere or an environment where you're having a bad user experience, it's probably because the network's not set up. So we're solving that problem, one project at a time, one event at a time, and sometimes leaving behind a permanent solution, but a lot of times it's just augmenting networks. So we really create and design high-density wireless solutions. If you got 100,000 people, obviously we're going to need more than one access point. So we've got an engineer and architect solution for that big event. So from 10 people to a couple 100,000 people, you just have to tell us what you're looking for and we can design it. So it's customized. Obviously, there's network security that needs to happen, as well as using some of these collaborative video solutions if you can't be on site together or need to be in remote locations. We do voice over IP, we do telepresence, we do on-site support, and that's probably one of our biggest things. When I say on-site support, we always treat our clients with the white glove treatment, and we always make sure that we go above and beyond, and that's what separates us from our competitors. There really is no competitor to us in the sense that what we do is exemplary, and we do it flawlessly every time, and we're only as good as our last job. So the other thing that we do is real-time monitoring and reporting. So I hope that's something that you guys are learning in school, which is obviously using some of the Cisco software programs, Cisco Prime, Cacti, and a couple other programs that Cisco has. And what's cool is that they, spit out a great report that you can utilize and crunch. Well, what are the people doing on the network? Oh, they're downloading apps. Oh, they're streaming, a live stream of a keynote. You can understand the patterns that are happening on the network. Some of our specialized solutions are obviously, like I said, we do live keynote demo operations. So that means back of house, front of house, making sure that a keynote where a major tech company or a large company is presenting what they're working on, then it has to work. Has to work on the stage, has to work on the devices, has to work on the network, and in conjunction with all those different networks that are associated with the press, the staff, the demo, the presenter networks. All these things have to work flawlessly. We do network augmentation, and that's where we could take a building, a warehouse. Let's just say you wanted to have a amazing tech event in a warehouse in the middle of the woods somewhere. Again, if we have power and an internet connection, we can make that happen. So we'll talk through with our clients, hey, these are the power requirements. You probably need to get a gig circuit put in there. And some of our projects, they'll do it just for a day or two. They'll bring in a gig circuit and make it happen. So it's very specialized. Obviously, we do mobile technologies, device mirroring in real time. If someone's using an app or showing off a demonstration, it has to work in real time. Obviously, video playback, RFID is something we also do. We also do managed and host solutions for a lot of our clients. So the last thing we do, and this is something we do on most projects, is we do project management strategy. We don't want to offer a solution that they don't need this network, they don't need this. So we're straight up about how we approach it, the strategy that we're going to do to implement it, and we just really want to evaluate, well, what are you doing with the network? What are you trying to accomplish? So we have to ask leading questions to get answers so that we can do our jobs. Early integration with event management. So when someone picks a site, we need to know that site is, what is it capable of doing? Is it a great network site already? Awesome. Makes my job a lot easier. If it's not, we need to identify with the event coordinators, hey, this event space is great for X, Y, and Z, and it's beautiful, and it's in Las Vegas, but it's not going to work particularly for a network, so we're going to need to build something for you that's custom to make the solution you want happen in this space that you've already rented. Obviously, we work through the venue capabilities. What do they have? What do we need to bring? Budget, how much do you have for a budget for network? Obviously, this stuff gets expensive, so sometimes we have to project manage the venue, and that's a big deal too. Bandwidth evaluations. What do you think you're going to be doing on the network? Oh, you're going to be doing massive photo uploads and downloads. We blew Adobe's mind last year. I think they had the most usage that San Diego Convention Center's ever seen across their network from Adobe. Obviously, photo files from thousands of people going up and down in the cloud tends to generate a lot of traffic. So site visits are essential to what we do. You have to know the location you're working out of, the choke points, the things that you have that you can use to your advantage. So site visits are incredibly helpful to our budgeting and figuring out our solution. Obviously, communications and documentation. It's a very fast moving world where you're trying to understand, well, what is the SSID? What is the password? The client sometimes has to come up with that, but then we have a network allocation grid that we maintain as documentation, and then that is basically a roadmap for us. We map out, if we ask the right questions and we know the spaces and what's happening in each space, we have a network allocation grid that tells us what the network's going to look like when it's finished. There's 4 hard lines in this room. 2 of them are to the center, 2 of them are the back of house for content capture. And also we also have escalation plans. How are we going to mitigate problems when they happen? If something goes down or someone's having a problem like I'm having here at this event today, is if I get a call saying the network is down at the expo in this booth, I've got to send someone down there and remedy it. So we try to do 5 minutes or less on a lot of our remediation, and any downtime starts to cost us money and reputation. So we always have to have those procedures in place. Obviously, we do event analytics, and that's becoming more robust as we go along. We can start to understand patterns, especially like an event that we're here at Moscone. So obviously, I've got a lanyard on, and this is my badge to get me in and out of the show. But what's cool is that all this information is being tracked. So we know if someone's just coming to get a badge to attend just so they can say they attended. Then there's people that are really going to the sessions and the keynotes, and they're getting their badge scanned. We understand what they're doing. It's pretty cool. We work closely with registration to make that happen. So you kind of understand the user trends, and obviously location-based stuff is making it easier to track mobile devices and kind of understand their patterns through the events. What parts of the event are successful, what parts aren't, because event planners want to know what they did right and what they could do better next year. Here's a couple case studies for you guys, and then we'll talk a little bit about this. So Google Marketing Next. This was a case study that we did. It was not a case study. This is an actual project that we did a couple months ago, actually, not too long ago. If you guys are familiar with the Fairmont Hotel, it's a famous historic, over 110-year-old facility, a hotel here in San Francisco. It actually survived the fire of 1909 or whatever. Anyway, it is an amazing building, but the infrastructure stinks for network. So we had to basically, it's like almost taking a body and putting new veins in it. It's basically the network we had to deploy, but it had to work in all these old rooms on multiple levels, out on terraces, and in different ballrooms. And so we had to have a bunch of different wired solutions. So it was a complete network augmentation. We came in and took over what little infrastructure they had and then augmented it with our own gear and set up for a temporary event for about 1,500 people. But they were doing demos and all that type of stuff. We stayed in the hotel actually stayed in, our lodging was in the hotel, so we could roll out of bed and be on site and be there 24 hours a day to make sure that the event was going flawlessly. There was 2,400 people at that event. So that's not a big event for us, but again, it's not about size. It's about the quality of the experience. The Olympics was one that I actually got to participate myself, which was phenomenal. This was in Brazil last year, so I got to spend about 3 or 4 weeks in Brazil, and it was a fantastic event. But basically, we had an interactive NBA house full of awesome different booths that were wired specifically for a purpose. There was a video game booth, there was a virtual reality booth, there were Pop-A-Shot, there were videos, there was telepresence where fans got to interact with NBA players. There was a dunking contest and a full basketball court. It was an amazing experience. So picture a nightclub that was driven around high energy music and interactive experiences, and that's what I got to experience. We set up all of that. It was pretty amazing. We also connected that same internet connection to provide wireless solutions for the NBA players that attended the Olympics, so that they could get on and communicate with their relatives and family, and do social media and just have a great experience. Obviously, Brazil is not as advanced technologically as we are, and so there were some challenges. We had power delays and some things that we were unforeseen, but we made it work and took it to that next level. So it was cool because 80,000 people got to experience this over the course of the Olympics. and so there was lines for hours to get into this space. So this was a good example of taking a warehouse that wasn't used for this purpose, gearing it up, wiring it up, making it possible to do this amazing experience in a place that normally wouldn't have this. It doesn't have the network infrastructure to pull this off, and it probably would have to be rebuilt again to do it in that space. ServiceNow, this is knowledge. This is a good one if you can see the picture. This was a great one because it had a lot of labs. This is an event that we did in Orlando recently this year, and this event is cool because labs are important. Obviously, if you're going to be talking about technology, you want people to use your technology, you want to experiment with them, you want to instruct them how to use it and explain best practices, you've got to have these labs. So you see a lot of tables and chairs in this picture, and there's a lot of hard lines to plug into internet, but then there's also some wireless going on. But if they're doing a demonstration where someone needs to be interactive with their laptop, you can guarantee that labs take tying cables down, laying out switches, and a lot of Cisco gear, and then architecting all that back to our network operations center, which we call our NOC for short, is where we run a lot of this stuff. So this was a very tough job. It was some of these rooms had to be flipped with different network equipment, and it was definitely challenging, but we rose to the challenge and we planned for the challenge. One of our account managers really planned this out to a T. Every hour on the hour was important. If we were behind on a room, then that would slow down the next thing we needed to do. So it was a pretty awesome undertaking. I did tell you guys about the Open. We've been doing this since 2009, and like 230,000 people attended in 2017. So that's a massive undertaking too, and that's a cool one because it's outdoors. And that kind of brings me to a close here. Sorry, there's some loud noise and people walking around with carts. Give me a second here for this to clear here, and I'll continue. So, to continue where we were, I kind of want to make this interactive and let you guys start to ask some questions. That's our company overview of what we do. We're obviously Cisco shop, as if you couldn't tell from all the things that I've explained. We basically have an amazing company that's built on the backbone of Cisco. The gear, the equipment, the technology, the architecting all happens with Cisco equipment. It's the stuff you're learning in school. And so I say that what you're doing and what you're learning is of critical importance, and you are the future of our company. We are only as good as the engineers in the field. I'm a project manager, but I'm only as good as my engineers in the gear, and if it's working, is what drives our business. So, we're looking for interns in our warehouse. We're looking for interns to work with us in entertainment integrations, potentially from that warehouse. We're looking for the best, the brightest, and I encourage you guys to reach out to Kenny Lou and to write me, and my email is John, John, at stuptech, stuptech.com. And we do have some job openings, but we're really looking for a warehouse person with warehouse logistics and shipping experience. But we do hire through the Net Academy, and it's an incredible experience, and you guys are the pipeline to great talent. And I just encourage you guys to keep growing, get your CCNA, get your different levels of certifications. Security is obviously a big one that's growing. It's a great career field. There's some money to be made, and it's not a 4-year degree. For some people, it's 2, and then it's a lot of just experience in the field. So we're always looking for bright people. We like to find diamonds in the rough. We like to polish them up and make them outstanding employees and individuals. So I'm all about changing lives, and that's why I volunteered my time today to talk to you guys, because I feel this is important for you as students, for Kenny as the instructor, for Cisco as the company that's kind of connected us, and then for us to explore new talent. So I encourage you to send your resumes to Kenny Lou. He and I will go through them. Reach out to me. And at this point, I'd like to just open it up to conversation and questions that you have for me.
Okay, John, I really appreciate you that you offered this presentation to us. I think it's very valuable. Even though many students, I believe, won't be able to attend live, but I hope they will be able to catch up all the information.
Absolutely.
One of the questions I would ask on behalf of the students is that for someone who started out as a IT student and have a goal to work in the industry, what kind of a roadmap that you would recommend? And specifically, if the IT, we have learned, the IT certifications are really valuable to the employers. Certainly, we offer such things like A+, Network+, Security+, those courses, right? Can you give us some heads up in terms of what kind of technical qualifications and industry certifications that employees are actually looking for right now? Which ones that are actually upcoming, new ones? I don't know, cloud computing or VMware, are those popular?
Yeah, absolutely. I can answer that. I'll answer that in a couple of different ways. One, I'll speak specifically to Straight Up's needs, but then I'll talk as an industry as a whole. Straight Up is always looking for cutting edge, technology and people that can run that stuff. So I would say that we're always looking for as many certifications as you can have under your belt, but apply that to real world scenarios. You can have all the book smarts in the world, but you need to have some experience in the field, understand how this stuff works, how it doesn't work, how to problem solve. Some of the skills that you really need are soft skills. Our company is very much client facing, so there's no one in our company that sometimes doesn't have to interact with a famous filmmaker like Michael Bay, who is pretty demanding on what he wants to get done. But a lot of our clients are. So you need someone that can walk the walk, talk the talk, but also be social. And the soft skills are important: writing emails, correspondence, thank you letters. All of that stuff is mission critical to us. It's what drives our business. We're only as good as the clients we serve. So the certifications are definitely they're a barometer and a measure of what you accomplished, but we really want to see that in the field and see what you've accomplished. So I would recommend getting your hands dirty, volunteering for us, doing some installs, understanding how a network is deployed, because I think we kind of offer the best of both worlds in that we do small projects that sometimes are only a week long, and you basically get to deploy a network that is kind of like a city that you get to tear down at the end. And so you get to see it from beginning concept implementation to augmentation to running it to tearing it back down. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. I think where the industry is headed is I think we're starting to see more network engineers that are coders and people that can code their way out of networking issues. And I think that's the next generation of where we're headed. Being able to write scripts and write programs that make networking solutions possible, and they may be customized. So I think that's important. I think the DevNet program that Cisco's doing is mission critical to us. We want to see where that's going as well. But I think the key is get your hands dirty, start actually applying what you're learning. The certifications are great, but you need to definitely take that knowledge that you're learning in the classroom with Kenny Lou and apply it, and do it wherever you can, whether it's your mom and pop's network with a Cisco router that's just powering an office space, or anything that you can get your hands on. Volunteer, do internships. Those type of things will get you further, because I would love to see somebody with certifications and some experience apply. But we have hired, like I said, just recently, we've hired 3 Net Acad students recently that, one was a recent alumnus who has a couple years of networking experience and certifications under his belt. But then we did hire one, and this is where we're headed. If we identify you as somebody that can go to the next level, we like people that are getting their CCNAs, and they also are getting the on the field experience with us, and then that turns from a part-time job into a full-time job, and then you become a senior executive, senior level engineer within a couple of years. And so the pathway to success is very forward for the right people. And so that, I hope I answered your question, Kenny. Did I answer it in a roundabout way?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And but I'm also wondering, are you also interested in the skill sets in the cloud computing set?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, more and more stuff is going to cloud. Meraki is some. I don't know if you guys are getting your hands on that kind of equipment, but we just deployed a Meraki setup in Rock in Rio, which was a concert series there in Brazil again. And obviously, the cloud computing is where it's going because they spout such great reports. Because it can be programmed off-site. It's actually a godsend for us in the sense that you can program a network and never actually implement it. You can say, hey, I need you to put these 4 APs here, put this here, and you can actually direct traffic remotely on these projects. And so I think the cloud computing is going to make not life easier, but a different experience for an engineer that may not be there on site and have people that are actually setting up a network that he's managing from afar. So I think the cloud computing is definitely going to take over another level of what we do.
Right. Thanks. And the reason I'm asking is because we have a initiative with a couple of other colleges in the neighborhood in the LA region there to set up a consortium to develop the cloud computing curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then so that's something that I'm really excited to hear about, and it's something that I'm looking forward to moving forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our engineers are excited about, young talent. We're excited. I mean, I always look at people that are younger and older than me to teach me stuff. So we want to stay fresh. We want to stay sharp. So having young engineers bringing more experience and kind of cutting edge skills is always a plus. But I would happy to serve on that consortium and or get our engineers involved to help you do what you do. And give you just kind of, industry experience and from an employer standpoint, what we're looking to do and what the challenges are for us daily.
Thank you. That's great. And I mean, I cannot emphasize enough for all our students that the opportunity that John offers from Straight Up Technology are really, really, really valuable. I don't think such opportunities come that often. So, please take this opportunity very seriously and, go for it. Don't be shy putting yourself forward and, just send your resume over and then see, how far you can go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll kind of expound upon what we're looking for right now. If I could get 2 interns, 2 of your students that are, hungry go-getters to get through an interview process that want to learn, in the fall, whether through Christmas or in the spring or the summer, I would love to get 2 interns that are LA-based that can work 10, 15, 20 hours a week, either together or, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, depending on schedules. That's the type of person I'm looking for. Someone that's working on their CCNA, just recently got it, but needs to get their hands on some equipment and understand how it works and can help us in the warehouse, shipping, things like that, and assist our team in the field. Those are mission critical stuff for us. It's some of it's not sexy and some of it's not glamorous, but I think what we do is pretty cool, and I think what we do every day is not your typical networking job. In that you're not reporting to the same location every day. You're not just maintaining or upgrading software that's permanent infrastructure. It's always changing. It's always evolving. So I think it's a great learning environment. I think it could be applicable to a permanent job that you're working at, whether that be a server farm or managing a network in-house for whatever company, XYZ. So I think that there's a lot of applicable skills that you can take from an internship with Straight Up and run with and build a career with. And all of our guys we have a great company culture. We work hard, we play hard, but it's always a learning environment, and everybody really chips in. There's nothing that I would ask of someone that I couldn't do myself, nor that's from the CEO down. We've all done it. We've all been in the trenches. We've all started from the bottom. And we don't consider ourselves above or below anything. So that's just the company culture. What's the project? How do we get it done? What's the most efficient way to get it done? Okay, let's not complain about it. Let's get it done, and let's work together and work smarter, not harder, to figure out what solutions do we need to put in place to make this a success. Because when we're on the ground with, AV teams, furniture, network people, staff that's putting on an event, we're all one part of one big team. If we don't pull off our portion of it, everyone else fails. Vice versa. If we don't get handed a wire, or put that wire down to connect that network, that person doesn't get connection. So it's important stuff, and I think that's why our business is growing, because this stuff is becoming more integral to our lives. Our devices connecting and working is like breathing water and air that you need for your body. So I applaud you guys. Kenny, I'm happy to stay on and do some more questions, but I would love to see some internships come out of this, and or some Rolodex stuff that we can build, and you have opportunities with us. You just have to take them.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for my students because, I don't know there are that many companies that will offer this kind of a training opportunity, because, your company is almost like a running lab, 24/7 running lab. And, how many companies can offer people to build up networks and taking down, every day, or, 7, whatever, a couple times a month. You probably, most people will probably just only have one chance to build up a network and then maintain it. That's it. You don't get to even take it down or something. But, the opportunities that your company works just gives tremendous, learning experience to people who are learning about the technologies and all that. And it also keeps changing. So I think it's a really, really wonderful experience if the students actually can take the opportunity. Absolutely,
and I think the cool thing too is we travel. Depending on where your career path heads with us, or we travel. Every experience is different, but it's an adventure, and it's a fun career path. I applaud you for doing it. If I had to start all over again, and if I was 18 or 19, I'd probably, be an engineer myself. I got started more in the project management, and that's more my skill set is thinking through a process and executing it and deploying it. So my mind is on a higher level, but I like the inner workings of it. I know enough about what we do to be dangerous, but I do get my hands dirty, and you need a lot of different skill sets. So the type of people that you guys are going to be are the network engineers, but you also need project managers. You also need installers and people to do the work with you. So I think everybody's got different talents that they bring to the table. But I would highly recommend, if you don't take anything else from this call, is make sure that you get those certifications, but make sure you work on your soft skills. Write good emails, write good with good grammar, punctuation. Those things are important. Attention to detail is mission critical for what we do at Straight Up. So our boss is very emphatic about that process, and likes to see things marinate, and likes to see things be done appropriately, not just with speed. So I'll wait and see if there's any more questions, but I'm happy to stay on the call. Students, y'all have any questions for me or anything?
Jesse, Osvaldo, Stacy, you guys have any questions?
You feel free. You don't have to be shy. Okay. Oh, Stacy has raised her hand. Go ahead, Stacy.
You probably have to turn your mic on, Stacy.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a loud environment here, so I'll hold my mic a little closer. Go ahead, Stacy. I'd love to hear from you. Or you can put it in the chat window if you think that's more appropriate.
I think she's on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, and I definitely recommend, Kenny, if you share this, the people obviously that watch the video, watch the presentation, listening to it's one thing, but I think seeing the slideshow and kind of digging it deeper is important. So So anyway, that's the presentation. That's our company. I just wanted to give you a real world view of an employer and what we do daily, and make sure that you guys knew these type of opportunities were out there. So I applaud you guys. I wish you nothing but luck on your endeavors. And like I said, follow up with me through Kenny. Love to get your resumes. Love to meet you guys in person. I do travel to Los Angeles quite a bit. This happens to be I'm out, on location for this project. So feel free to reach out to me if you've got questions. Again, my email is john@stubtech, john@stubtech.com. And I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm happy to talk to you guys about internships and future possibilities. So thank y'all for spending some time with me this evening. Spread the word. Let us know how we can help you. Okay?
Thank you very much, John.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it if that's okay, Kenny. But like I said, I'm happy to do any follow-up offline, tomorrow or next week. So thank you all and have a great rest of your Wednesday.
You too. Thank you, John.
Okay. Thank you.
Stacy has left the meeting.